Good evening, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the St. Xavier High School commencement exercises for the class of 2026. My name is Dan Lynch, and it is my honor to serve as the principal of St. Xavier High School. Tonight, 304 young men joined the long blue line of St. Xavier alumni, extending all the way back to 1831. We thank the representatives with us this evening from the class of 1976, who led our procession during their 50th anniversary year. As they leave the floor now, please join me as we recognize them. Members of Ensemble X, if you begin to make your way, thank you. Graduates, as much as the world is changing year by year, who knows what it will be like in 2076 when you celebrate your 50th reunion. Over the past 4 years, the faculty and staff have worked diligently to help you develop the knowledge and skills necessary to meet the changing world's needs. And beyond simply meeting these changes, your teachers and I are confident that you will play a significant role in shaping the future for good. We have been impressed by your intelligence, positive leadership, and orientation towards service. And in 50 years, it will be your time to look back on the ways in which you have guided the world in the spirit of the Jesuit motto, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God. At this time, I'd like the following graduates who have received appointments to U.S. military academies or awarded a national ROTC scholarship to move to the front of the student section: Andrew Pellicastro, Jacob Schleif, and Noah Widener. And I ask everyone in attendance who is able to please stand with them, remove any hats or caps, and join with our Ensemble X for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. The invocation this evening will be given by Mr. Timothy J. Riley, President of St. Xavier High School.
Lord God, we gather in gratitude for these exceptional young men who have been formed as leaders and men for others. We're grateful for the Jesuits who are with us and came before us, for the families, faculty, the staff, and volunteers, the benefactors, all who have participated in this worthy tradition and apostolic mission. We're grateful for the rigorous academic and extracurricular programs, the prayer, meditation, the sacraments, retreat experiences, and the opportunities for service. We ask for your protection upon each member of the class of 2026. Bless their lives from this day on with the unshakable belief and confidence in their unique purpose. We pray that you will lead them to discern and successfully carry out your plan in their lives and to serve as leaders in this rapidly changing world. May they always choose good and avoid evil. Help them to stay true to their dreams, to use their gifts wisely, and to walk into the future with faith, hope, and abundant love. Amen.
As nominated by the class of 2026, please join me in welcoming our student speaker, Patrick Kavanaugh, who will now address our assembly.
My name is Patrick Kavanaugh, and it's my absolute honor to address all of you tonight. Ages ago, there was an abbot who spoke to his monks every day about finding God, searching for God, encountering him. One day, a monk asked the abbot if he had ever encountered God himself, if he had ever seen God face to face. After a long silence, the abbot answered no, he hadn't. But the abbot said that by looking back on the length and breadth of his life, he could see for himself the passage of God in retrospect. Now, before I return to the abbot, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the class of 2026, and especially to Mr. Wheatmartian, who provided invaluable help and feedback on this speech. Please remember that if you like the speech, you can find me outside after the ceremony. And if you don't like the speech, you can find Mr. Wheatmartian's email listed somewhere in the staff directory online. That is, if you can spell his name, of course. Parents, faculty, staff, coaches, members of the Board of Trustees. For so much of my time at St. X, I've been in pursuit of answers to impossibly large questions. Questions of God in my future. Questions of service and justice. Questions rooted in the very mission of this school. As I stand before you today, I can tell you that I don't have concrete answers to all of those questions. My eyes haven't seen the miraculous face of Jesus, and my ears haven't heard the booming voice of God. My mind hasn't wrapped around the ideas of injustice and evil, and if you ask Mr. Bro, it's hardly grasped the ideas in calculus. Yet I, just like the abbot from before, can see many of the answers to those impossibly large questions in retrospect. I have seen love and justice in action, not through, in the words of Mr. Rieselman, magic St. X pixie dust falling from the ceiling, but through my brothers sitting before me today. In writing this speech, I had to face what was at first a rather humbling reality. The reality that in every corner of the country this spring, graduation speeches much like this one will be delivered by students much like me, if only students that are a little bit less handsome than me. It's not that funny. Yet, in my research of former St. X graduation speeches, that nagging sensation of smallness only strengthened. In many years before this one, students dressed in the same blue and white cap and gown of St. X sat exactly where the class of 2026 sits today. These students experienced the same music fest. they walked the same 6-mile walk for X. The question I faced was this: what makes this class, the class of 2026, different? The answer, I believe, lies in the same spot where my answers to impossibly large questions on God, service, and justice lay, with my brothers sitting before me today. As a class, we've accomplished great things. A run to the football state championship just months ago, 2 quiz team state championships under the Henry Jakin dynasty era, Cincinnati's first bowling state championship, state runs in mock trial, and state titles in swimming. Even still, this list only scratches the surface of the trophies and accomplishments that we've achieved. As a class, we've experienced great sorrow: the death of Mr. Getchie, Doc Locke, and Mrs. Burt. As a class, we held our hands across each other's shoulders during the alma mater after the remarkable victories against Moeller and Elder. And as a class, we held each other hand in hand during the memorial masses of our beloved teachers. This is our legacy. More than trophies or medals or rings, the legacy of the class of 2026 is forged in relationships. Sometimes, much to our teachers' annoyance, rather loud relationships heard echoing around the halls with a hum hest. A few months ago, I was talking on the phone to a member of the class of 2022 named Seth. Seth has now graduated college and gotten engaged, and he asked me during our conversation, what is my legacy at St. X? He explained that every club he created, every test he took, every mark he made had in some way already been disbanded or forgotten. In response, I asked Seth one question: tell me about your friends from St. X. For minutes, he went on about the colleges his friends had gone to, the people they had met, the careers they had entered, and the powerful good that they were doing in the world. This is Seth's legacy, and this will be our legacy too. Yet these relationships, of course, were built with help. Every teacher and parent sitting here today has played a tremendous role in fostering our relationships. I'll always remember the long car rides with my parents as a freshman and sophomore, heading to practice, to school, and to events. Mom and Dad, wherever you are, plug your ears, because at the time I hated those trips. I hated the dreaded question, how was your day? Yet now, in retrospect, I recall the memories and the conversations with such unexpected weight. To my parents, Tim and Alyssa, and to all parents and family members of the class of 2026, thank you for your time, and thank you for the gift of your sons, grandsons, and nephews. I'll also remember the work of teachers, the golf games and dunk contests held in Mr. Kluse's freshman scriptures class, the early mornings spent with Mrs. Collins and Mrs. Van Sant caring for the outdoor classroom. Each of us has encountered a teacher who has made a difference in our lives. To those teachers and to all teachers, thank you for dedicating your time and your energy into shaping us into the young men you see before you today. To the class of 2026, to my brothers, you have shown me the answers to those questions of God, service, and justice. Sharing retreats and masses with you, working alongside of you during mission trips and weekly service, these have been the moments that answer those impossibly large questions. As we enter the world, the problems that we face are significant. They call for a firm foundation. As a class, we have found that foundation in each other, in the relationships which we have formed, and in the lessons on God, service, and justice which we have learned. Now we depart from that foundation, prepared to, in the words of this year's theme, encounter the world and the people around us, to do good. Like many students in the class of 2026, I have a member of the Long Blue Line in my family. My grandpa, also named Pat Kavanaugh, is a member of the class of 1959. He went to St. X when the building was down on 7th and Sycamore. After graduation, my grandpa saw the assassination of a president. He saw his nation at war. He saw the dawn of the computer and the dawn of the smartphone. And today, almost 7 decades later, like many fathers and grandpas in the audience, he sees his grandson walk across the stage. In Pat's more than 6 decades since graduation, the people he met, the lessons he learned at St. X define the person he is today. If we should be so lucky to see our own children and grandchildren graduate from St. X one day, what challenges will we have overcome? What relationships will we continue to cherish? This evening, we join Pat Kavanaugh and the thousands of other bombers in the long blue line as Xavier men forever. And today, like the Abbot, we can look back on our experiences these past years and see in retrospect the answers to so many questions, the relationships we will continue to cherish, and the foundation that will sustain us through the inevitable obstacles that lie ahead. Class of 2026, may God bless us and keep us as we move forward, and may we all continue to be the answers to other people's impossibly large questions. Thank you, and God bless you.
This evening, we are honored to have Mr. Kyle Chandler as our commencement speaker. Mr. Chandler serves as a founding principal of Xavier Jesuit Academy, an all-boys Catholic Jesuit school serving grades 3 to 8 in Cincinnati's Bond Hill neighborhood. Since opening its doors in September of 2024, XJA has been committed to forming young men of character and intellect while strengthening a community where the effects of economic scarcity can be felt. Prior to founding XJA, Mr. Chandler served for 13 years as assistant principal for student affairs at his alma mater, the University of Detroit Jesuit High School and Academy. There, he distinguished himself as a thoughtful leader and trusted mentor, recognized for his sound judgment, relationship building, and dedication to forming students in both academic excellence and character. Kyle and his wife first met on the campus of Colgate University almost 30 years ago and currently enjoy raising their 4 children here in Cincinnati, where family and community remain at the heart of their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Kyle Chandler.
Good evening. Mr. Lynch, there's no way there's 2,400 people in here, and that's how they sound when I say good evening. Good evening. Appreciate that. I know we've all had long days, but this is what I've been excited for all day. Same with you? Yes. Amen? Patrick, you should understand, I've been doing this for 24 years, so I've been to at least 24 graduations, and what you just did right here was remarkable in front of this many people. So can we again just thank him again for what he just did? And so similar to Patrick, I did a little bit of research. Mr. Ayler sent me the last 5 years worth of speeches. So I was taking copious notes, thinking about things that I should say, should not say. I then sat down with a select group of St. X faculty members and said, hey, listen, what's the key thing for me to focus on? And by far, they all said the same thing. Keep it brief. Mr. Lynch's invitation was, Kyle, you got about 8 minutes. For you, we'll give you 9. I'm going to try to stay on track, but at the same time, there's so many wonderful things that I'd like to share. I do want to start off just by thanking President Riley. He's been tremendously supportive to me and to our XJA mission. Principal Lynch, thank you for accepting my phone calls and text messages on those snowy mornings, right? Some people look at the news. I send Dan Lynch a text message and say, are you guys open? 9 times out of 10, St. X is open. Therefore, XJA is open too. So when parents have issues, I send them Mr. Lynch's email address. Board of Trustees, faculty members, staff, class of 2026, And to all of our parents, thank you. I do want to make a point while I have the mic to express great gratitude to my 4 kids. I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to St. X's graduation to give the speech. And they looked at me and they said, why? I love them too. And then I really have to show a lot of love to my wife, Tamada. As Dan alluded to, we met over 30 years ago. I remember the day, June 21st, 1999, on Colgate. It was 27 years ago. Colgate University's campus. She looked across the quad and saw me and immediately fell in love. She asked me to cut that part out. But I do want to make a point to emphasize how much I'm grateful to her. She wanted to be here. My kids wanted to be here. But just like many of you all, she's driving our kids around to activities, baseball practices, our daughters at work. And so when I say that with the spirit of humility and gratitude. So students, I am going to make one ask of you tonight. Right, you know where your people are here in this place. Could you please stand up and thank them for what they've done for you throughout your entire journey? I know, that's crazy. I'm asking things. Yep. Let's thank them for what they've done. Thank you, gentlemen. So the reason why I do that is because I was very fortunate growing up, right? Hardworking mom and dad. Dad was a bus driver for the city of Detroit, 35 years. Mom was a cashier at Farmer Jack at a grocery store. My first job was as a caddy at Detroit Golf Club. So for me to get any caddies in the group, students, any caddies? None? So we understand that to be a caddy, to get that first loop, you need to be there by 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I caddied back in the day when you couldn't schedule somebody's loop. You had to be there and wait. My mother would schedule her day to where she would go to work at 5, leave at 5:45 and take her lunch, and she would take me to the golf course and drop me off. And while she was doing that, I would sleep in the car. I share that because she would never share that out loud herself. The people who are in this stands have given countless hours and time for you to get where you are. So I say thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for everything that you've done. You've never asked for a thank you from your son, but recognize that they're here because of the sacrifices that you've made along the journey. So today, I'm going to be brief. I'm going to follow that recommendation. Students, if you could jump in the Wayback Machine, right? 2021 in the fall. You were in 8th grade. I was finishing up my 19th year at U of D Jesuit High School, my 13th year as Dean of Students. So that's why I've always had a great appreciation for Mr. Shaper, right? Dean of Students don't typically last that long. And I've known him for a really long time. And so I remember pulling up to U of D Jesuit. So just like St. X, our entrance is just a beautiful space. So just like your plaza, your main entrance, it's a diamond staircase at U of D Jesuit. I pull up on this wonderful August morning, and one of our seniors is standing outside. And I get out of my car, it's early in the morning, and I say, Griff, what are you doing outside? And Griff is looking up, and he goes, Mr. Chandler, this is my last first day. Oh, I mean, I was a mean dean, but even I had a heart for that. And I said, man, this kid, okay. So I said, let's go inside. Day 2, I pull up. Next day, I pull up, and Griff is still outside. He did not stay there overnight. But when I walked up to him, I said, Griff, what's going on, man? What's this? He's Mr. Chandler. It's my last second day. I said, man, we're not going to do this all year. Go inside of the building. That's not going to work. But I share that because I think as we look forward to the future, it's important that we reflect on the past a little bit. And so if possible, I want to lead us through a bit of an examine. I'm currently teaching my 17-year-old daughter how to drive. Prayers are appreciated. 90% of our time, 95% of our time is spent looking through the front view window. But every now and then, you have to look at the rear view mirror to see what you've gotten through. And so I think for the class of 2026, it's important that you replay some of these moments. I think maybe that anxiousness that you might have felt in January of 22 when you had submitted all of your documents, you'd taken your HSPT, but you were still waiting to get that official notice that you've been accepted to St. X. Think about the excitement that you felt when you got that acceptance. Think about the day you pulled into the parking lot for the welcome night, and the band was jamming outside, and you walked in, and you saw this long blue carpet, and you saw these men. In 8th grade, you thought those were men. These men on both sides that were clapping you in. Think about the euphoria and the excitement. I want the parents to think about that as well. Remember for you when you went into the burning gym, and there were all of those other parents who you didn't know? Your son was afraid, you were afraid, and you didn't know what was on the horizon. But then by the end of that night, you felt like you belonged. You walked into the building, you probably stopped by the spirit shop and spent way too much money, Mr. Riley. No, it's not the cost. I walked out of the spirit shop this year dressed head to toe, pajamas, socks, hats, everything. And you walked in feeling like you were isolated, but you walked out feeling like there was a brotherhood. I want you guys to also think about what you've experienced throughout your journey. The family nights. Parents, I want you to look around the room for a moment. The people who that night were strangers, who are now some of your closest friends. Students, look around the room a little bit to the guys to your left and to your right. Those smiles on your faces let me know that you've had a heck of a journey, that you've had a really good time. I ask that you think about the triumphs. Patrick talked about some of the losses. I think about the fact that you guys have given and continued to give. I think about that Paycor night. I don't know if you understand the magnitude of what you all accomplished in front of 22,000 people. You did something even the Cincinnati Bengals couldn't accomplish. The comeback was wonderful, and you got to share it with your brothers, and the world got to see it. But I'm not here just for that. Honestly, I think the reason why Mr. Lynch invited me to speak tonight is because I'm one of many community partners that gets to benefit from the men that you guys are. And so you might remember your sophomore year, right? I was invited to speak at the Ignatian Summit thanks to Mr. Ravenna. And one of the calls to action that I talked to you guys about is what does it mean to be a hero in plain sight? And we changed our language from being a hero in plain sight to what does it mean to be a man for others living in plain sight? I got to see it firsthand. XJA would not exist without you all. And I don't say that insincerely. I say that because people don't know our origin story. Before our building was open, we were doing renovations. We had an office here on this campus. And we would invite families into a room. We would talk about XJA. We would talk aspirationally what it could be like. And you know what would happen is there was one day in particular, we asked the families, there were 7 families in the room. We said, why are you here? And they said, because I want my son to go to St. X. And this is the pathway for my son to go to St. X. So I look out at you all and I get emotional because when I see you, I see them. And many of them will occupy these seats. Because of what you all have done to that call for action that I gave you, and I said, what does it mean to be a man for others hiding in plain sight? You all have volunteered Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, weekends, all the time. You're always present. So our students get to see themselves in you, but also hope you see yourselves in them. The world is going to tell you that you guys are the kids who are on the top of North Bend Road, and my guys are the kids on the bottom of North Bend Road. You don't treat them like that. This morning I said, hey fellas, we do a morning meeting every day, 63 boys in front of me. I said, hey look, I get to share some remarks in front of the St. X students. What do you want me to tell them about our gratitude towards them? Our kids raised their hands, and the first thing one of my guys said, Mr. Chandler, please tell them those warm chocolate chip cookies in the cafeteria are bussin'. Thank you. Then the next kid raised his hand. He said, Mr. Chandler, can you please tell Colin and the hockey team guys how much we appreciated their tutoring on Mondays? Them sitting down with us made a world of difference. But also let them know that we enjoyed beating them in that last hockey game on the last day of tutoring. and they didn't take it easy on us. So it was a dub, Mr. Chandler. Thanks, kids. I appreciate it. But I said, beyond that, what does it mean? And one of my kids said, Mr. Chandler, please let them know how much we appreciate them treating us like real brothers. Sometimes people can talk about our kids as though they're underprivileged kids, they're impoverished kids, or they're kids who are at risk. You all have never treated us like that, and I thank you for that. You all see the dignity in all of our students. You see God's grace in all of our students, and I'm grateful that you continue to do it. One of my kids said that he was going to the allergist, and when he went to the allergist, one of you saw him and said, hey, Mateo, hey, Tomas, good to see you. He said, one of the high school kids recognized me. Here's what you don't know is that he was going there for his first round of allergy shots and was terrified. And the fact that one of you all spoke to him meant the world to him and put him at ease. So they say that the true character of a man is known by how he responds when nobody's watching. Number one, there's always somebody watching. But number two, I love the fact that you guys are so true to who you are and what you do. My last piece is, Mr. Lynch said it, Mr. Riley said it, Patrick even alluded to it too. I would love to give you sage career advice and tell you what the future holds for you. Our 50-year grads already left. I don't know what 2076 is going to hold. But what I do know, when I prayed for you all this morning, my prayer to God was, Lord, guide their footsteps, but also allow them to hear your voice. So I thought back to a visit I had at your school about a month ago. I walked through your hallways, fellas. You guys are unbelievably blessed. The teachers that you have, the staff members that you have are second to none. When I went in your teacher's lounge and I call it the Ring of Honor, and I saw these countless people who've given their lives to Jesuit education, but also the people that have brought you over to our school, God gave me an answer to my prayers. He says, Kyle, let them know we don't know what the profession is going to be, but lean into the teachers that have guided your footsteps. When I walk into your building, I see pure joy every single day. And I've done this for a long time. It does not exist everywhere. People who allow their passions to show themselves in the classroom, an environmental club, doing community service, doing science Olympiad, who continue to give and not to count the cost. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is, don't just listen to their words, but pay attention to their actions. They fully embody what it means to be men and women for others, to God's greater glory. So again, fellas, tonight, I'm going to say this. I'm a U of D Jesuit graduate. You all are second to none. What you've accomplished, what you continue to do is remarkable. I'll continue to keep you in my prayers. And tomorrow morning, I'm looking forward to showing our kids some of these pictures so that they can again see themselves occupying these seats in about 8 years. Thank you and God bless.
Started to move. We now ask the members of the graduating class who will be singing with the choir to please make their way to the risers. And ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the musical selection, Irish Blessing, as performed by Ensemble X. invite to the stage now Lucas Arter, Henry Jakin, Drew Kovacs, James McEwen, Jack Robbins, and Tommy Wall, who have served as chairman for the class gift. Gentlemen, please come forward to make the presentation to President Riley. Gentlemen, we thank you and for all the other students who are involved in leading this endeavor. It's now time to recognize those graduates who are to receive special awards for outstanding achievement in the various areas of study. The chairs of each department or their representative will make the presentations. The Peter A. Horan English Award is presented to the graduating senior recognized by the English faculty as the outstanding English student. Presented by Mr. Sean Cahill, Chair of the English Department, this year's Peter A. Horan English Award goes to Eric Joseph Farrow. The Mathematics Award will be presented by Mr. Alex Antonelli, Chair of the Mathematics Department. This year's award winner is Sean Patrick Orther. The Computing Award will be presented by Mr. Neil Ryan, Chair of the Computer Science Department. This year's award winner is Adam Leland Schwetzenow. I ask the following 6 gentlemen to come to the side of the stage now. C.J. Gemrick, Bodie Niebel, Logan Keller, Andrew Kramer, Ryan Kramer, and David Beblow. Please come to the side over here. Mrs. Maria Rubio, Chair of our World Languages Department, will be presenting these awards. For Chinese, the award goes to Christopher John Gemrick. For French, the award goes to Bodie Lathram Niebel. For German, the award goes to Logan Thomas Keller. For Latin, the awards go to Andrew Joseph Kramer and Ryan Douglas Kramer. And for Spanish, the award goes to David Matthew Beblow. Mr. Jim Tellis, Chair of the Religion Department, will present the award for Religious Studies. This year, the award goes to Lucas Lawrence Archer. I ask that the following three students come to the side stage now: Lucas Mirki, Anton Vovchenko, and Benjamin Galler. Dr. Mike Haskin, Chair of the Science Department, will present the following awards. The award for physics goes to Benjamin Galler. Dr. Cody is a graduate from the class of 1930. The Dr. J. Harold Cody Biology Award goes to Lucas Mirki. Dr. Burning is a graduate from the class of 1938. The Dr. Donald N. Burning Chemistry Award goes to Anton Vovchenko. Mr. Tony Nardini, Chair of our Social Studies Department, will present the award for Social Studies. This year's award winner is David Ivan Ivanov. I ask that the following three students come to the side stage now: Alex Bicey, Nolan Lindberg, and James McEwen. Dr. Elizabeth Harris Dr. Elizabeth Harris, Chair of the Fine Arts Department, will present the following awards. The Musical Arts Award goes to Alex Christopher Bicey. The Theater Award goes to Nolan Joseph Lindberg. And the Visual Arts Award goes to James Grant McEwen. Mr. J.K. Kleiber, our Director of Community Service, will present our Community Service Award. This year's award winner is Ryder William Munns. Since 1986, the St. Xavier Faculty Association has honored a student who has indicated an interest in teaching, who has demonstrated academic responsibility and a concern for others, and who has the potential to be a caring, creative, and professional teacher. In 1989, the award was named after a dedicated member of the St. Xavier Faculty Association, Father Joe Brennan. The 2026 Joe Brennan Award will be presented by Mrs. Katie Collins, President of the St. Xavier Faculty Association. This year, the award goes to Adan Garcia. Ms. Jennifer Siebel, Assistant Principal for Academics, will present the Senior Scholar Award. This is for the graduate with the highest cumulative average for all 4 years. The recipient this year earned an unweighted average across all his classes at St. Xavier with a 98.19 average. And he has earned a weighted cumulative GPA of 4.91, which includes taking 14 college-level courses. Please join me in congratulating this year's Senior Scholar Award winner, Benjamin Walker Galler. Mr. Jason Ehlers, Assistant Principal for Student Life, and Mr. Carlos Stewart, Director of St. X Bold, will now present the St. Francis Xavier Service Award. This award is given to a graduate who has demonstrated concern for St. Xavier High School and who has given of himself to the school in all its facets. The graduate should embody fully what is meant by service, a performance of a labor for the benefit of others. Furthermore, he should be one who has not sought personal glory, but has tried to do what is best for others. This year, by vote of the faculty, the award is conferred upon Henry Nicole Jakin. President Timothy Riley will present the Charles Farrell Memorial Leadership Award. This award was established by the Alumni Association and is intended to recognize a graduate who gives promise of being an outstanding Catholic lay leader in his church and in his community. The recipient should be a young man who has displayed qualities which indicate that he will be a believing, practicing Catholic, a young man of high moral standards, committed to the service of God and neighbor. More than just a good person, the recipient should be a strong person who is not afraid to take a stand. This year, by vote of the faculty, the award is conferred upon Patrick Robert Kavanaugh. Father Bill Verbeek will present the Jesuit Schools Network Award, given to the graduate who most closely resembles the profile of what Jesuit education is trying to accomplish, namely, to form a well-rounded person who is intellectually competent, open to growth, religious, loving, and committed to doing justice and generous service to the people of God. This year's recipient is Sabian George Swan. I would like to call your attention to the page in the program in which recognition is given to graduates who are members of the National Honor Society and those who have been named National Merit Scholarship finalists. The roster of graduates also indicates those who merited honors averages after 7 semesters. A single asterisk behind a student's name indicates first honors, a cumulative average of 3.6 or higher. A double asterisk indicates second honors, a cumulative average between 3.2 and 3.59. I would now like to invite the graduates who have earned Ignatian Global Scholar status to please stand now. Their names are listed in the program this evening. The Ignatian Global Scholars Program creates opportunities for students to engage in ongoing academic and co-curricular experiences that form global citizens for and with others. Earning the IGS distinction demonstrates the student's academic achievement and a deep commitment to giving greater glory to God by taking action towards a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Congratulations, gentlemen. Next, I would like to invite the graduates who have earned the Ohio Seal of Biliteracy to also please stand. These students have demonstrated high levels of proficiency in English and at least one other language. The language proficiency required to receive the seal is the same level that teachers must demonstrate to be certified as a world language teacher in Ohio. The names of the students earning this recognition can be found in the program. Congratulations, gentlemen. I now ask President Tim Riley back to the podium for the conferring of the diplomas.
Thank you. This evening we have a number of special guests with us from the Archdiocese. With us we have Superintendent of Schools for the Archdiocese, Mr. Matt Daniels. Additionally, I would like to recognize the members of the Board of Trustees who are present with us this evening and ask them to stand and remain standing as I call your names. Please hold your applause until we're finished, of course. Let's see, tonight we have Patrick Connaughton here, Lee Geiger's here, Chris Habel's here, Father Paul Lichtag is here, Nick Veer's here, and Father Verbeek is here. Thank you, gentlemen, for all your service. And here's what makes it real. During our final board meeting of the year, the Board of Trustees of St. Xavier High School and Board Chairman Gregory G. Acton approved the confirmation of diplomas on the members of the class of 2026 of St. Xavier High School. This confirmation was based on the recommendation of Principal Dan Lynch, the school administration, the faculty and staff, and the evidence that each student was successfully meeting the criteria for graduation, which includes the final grades of each student. You did it, gentlemen. Mr. Lynch, back to you.
So it's now time to call the graduates forward to receive their diplomas. I would like to ask for your cooperation. We will cheer for all of the graduates loud and long after all of them have received their diplomas. I ask that you do not cheer or applaud for individual students as they come forward, because each student has worked hard to achieve his moment, to walk across the stage, be recognized for his accomplishments, and for his family to be able to hear the graduate's name read clearly. Cheers or applause for one student will hinder us from clearly hearing the name of the next student. Thank you for your cooperation in refraining from cheering for individual graduates during the course of the ceremony. Again, we will cheer for all graduates for as long as you would like after they all have received their diplomas. The names of our graduates will be read tonight by our assistant principals. For student life, Mr. Jason Ehlers, and for academics, Ms. Jennifer Ziebel. I ask Mr. Ehlers to please come forward as we begin the reading of the graduates' names.
Hanley Jackson Abel. Bryce Mitchell Adams. Benjamin Nicholas Adkins. Jason Inshura Ajiman Bachwe. Daniel Stephen Aarons. Colin James Albers. Zoran Xavier Ali. Emmanuel Onyekachi Anyanwu. Brady Patrick Arch. Lucas Lawrence Arter. Elijah Robert Avery Brown. Connor Robert Bearswilt. Charles Francis Barrett. Heyron Rodrigo Bautista Morales. Nicholas John Bayer. David Matthew Beblow. James Thomas Benedict Jr. Matthew Christopher Benton. Dimitri Sebastian Bermudez. August Robert Betts. Cole Maximus Blakeman. Crew Alexander Blakeman. Brian Patrick Bolin Jr. Mitchell Ireton Bollinger. John Ryan Bauer. Camden Michael Bowling. Keegan Michael Boyle. Nicholas Robert Brady. Joseph Henry Brands. Henry William Brandt. Maxwell Charles Brass. Jack Robert Breeze. Cameron James Brewer. Braden Douglas Bricking. Luke Anthony Brink. Jacob Drake Britt. Bonham Jackson Brenner. Dylan Michael Bruce. William Davis Burkhardt. Walker Park Burson. Jason Garrett Bush. Alex Christopher Bicey. Kenyon Io Bird. Davis Richard Cannon. Declan Francis Carr. Camden Clifford Carter. Charles Yancey Castro. Patrick Robert Kavanaugh. Robert William Chrysler. Jacoby Deshaun Clapper. Matthew George Clevidence. Andrew William Clippard. Bryce John Colpo. Ryan Nicholas Combs. Lucas John Cox. Harrison Lewis Henry Curtis. Colin Andrew Custer. John Rolfus Danaher. Reese Andrew Danner. Graham Elliott Davis. John Bickford Davis. Luke Jacob Day. Roman Arthur Sloan Dean. Braden Jonathan Edward D. Sean Brian Deely. William Stephen Daner V. Samuel Philip DeMarco. Zachary Edward Quilla Diza. Zachary James Durger. Jack Marshall Dahl. Oscar Victor Dragoo. Gabriel John Drashewski. Christopher Andres Duffy. Jonathan Reed Duffy. Carson Francis Dwyer. Michael Devon Ely II. Daniel Antonio Early. Adam Ali Ilazab. Dominic Joseph Ellis is not here with us tonight. He is running track. Good luck, Dom. Parker Stephen Faber. Christopher Irealua Tamiwa Faranu. Farouk Fatal. Andrew Nicholas Fezco. Ryan Cillian Foley. Michael James Fortman. Liam Richard Fox. Robert Dion Frazier, Jr. Jackson Clemens Fry. Adon Garcia. Joseph George Gears. Christopher John Gemrich. Benjamin Joseph Gerwe. Samson Tarvin Geddes. Amir Ghasemzadeh. Broderick Thomas Giles. Gavin Sean Gilreath. Benjamin Walker Goller. Adam Michael Griefer Jr. Charles William Grissy. Charles Cronin Gruber. Jack Andrew Gunn. Vincent Hugh Ha. Tyler Dean Happ. Ryan Ahmed Habib. Ivan Thomas Haber. Samuel Habtom. Alexander Michael Haddad. Chase Alexander Hadnett. Mitchell Walter Haglage. Owen Jeffrey Hahn. Dennison Miller Haley. Daniel Jacob Harrell. Reese Matthew Hosfeld. Charles Edward Healy IV. Owen Michael Hine. Samuel Benjamin Helwig. Sean Jackson Hendon. Grant Michael Hester. Keegan Dylan Hickey. Henry Hinckley. Tyler Ronald Hochter. William Austin Hoskins V. Charles Andrew Hall. Brandon Wayne Hilton. David Ivan Ivanov. Connor Reynolds Jackson. David Jackson. Brogan Robert James. Asaz Nawaz Javed. Nabil Kazi Jaweed. Henry Nickel Jakin. William Douglas John. Trey William Johnson. Cameron Stafford Jones. Max Robert Jorgensen. Henry Michael Cashman. Henry Edward Kane. Vaishanth Kadamani. Logan Thomas Keller. Luke Andrew Keller. Jack Joseph Kendrick. Noah Parker Ketron. Rowan Lee Kiley. Matthew Patrick King. Frederick Wallace Kinney. Nicholas Russell Klein. Bodie Lathram Niebel. Andrew James Kovacs. Andrew Joseph Kramer. Ryan Douglas Kramer. Brendan Joseph Kreider. Jacob Charles Kreitzer.
Elliot Andrew Lammers. Jack Conrad Lang. Brandon Edward Lannon. Leonardo Elias Lazarde. Nolan Joseph Lindberg. Landon James Liston. Luke Isaac Longton. Corey Vincent Lutman. Connor Daniel Lynch. Joseph Michael Mansour. Arush Munthro. Nicholas Edward Maringer. Jeshwin Anto Mario. James Odin Masoner. Jamion Hassan Mayweather. Colin James McCafferty. Alexander Lewis McClatchy. Brady John McDonald. Miles Ryan McKeever. James Grant McEwen. John Michael McPeak. Nicholas John Mealy. Kurt William Merling. Lucas Yoshizu Mirki. Jackson Alexander Miller. Jake Spencer Molas. Jackson Richard Monk. Benjamin David Morstadt. Bradley Tawana Mudzingonyama. William Patrick Muller. Ethan Michael Munich. Ryder William Munns. Adam Thomas Murray. Joshua Elazar Neisge. Jacob Andrew Naylor. Mohammed Bajai. Chase Kenneth Nyer. Ethan Bao Win. Tiun Win. Lawrence Gurdon Neese. Alexander Jonathan Nixon. Stephen Paul North III. Oliver Terrence O'Connor. Sean Patrick Other. Max Ryan Ology. Jason Patrick Olszewski. Luque Pedro Ordonez. Joseph Michael O'Reilly. Logan Michael Paddock. Alex Collins Pater. Kenji Denzel Perez Pena. Nicholas Anthony Petroselli. William Conrad Petrie. Andrew Robert Pettibone. Min Long Pham. Eric Joseph Farrow. Andrew David Phillips. John William Piersma. Andrew Michael Policastro. Matthew Sean Prudent. Richard Rylan Puryear. Rocco Richard Pusateri. Zachary Nicholas Kwan. Braden Nader Rayad. Daniel Richard Ron. Jason Michael Reeder. Max Gregory Reeder. Edward Nathan Redpath. Aiden Adai Reeder. Austin Carter Reed. Braden Edward Riley. Grant Henry Reineck. Eli Jackson Rensenbrink. Dominic Armando Rios Cruz. Jackson Joseph Robbins. Andrew David Rosal. Luke Henry Rouse. John Stephen Ryan. Matthew James Schaefer. Ralph Henry Shear. Joseph Michael Scheibly. Jacob Ralph Schleif. Bennett John Schmidt. Ezekiel John Richard Schmitz. William Albert Schwartz. George Edwin Schwindeman. Adam Leland Schwetzenow. Braden Lee Scott. Owen Patrick Sedgwick. Benjamin Jack Seibert. Patrick James Sharp. Oliver Ford Sheridan. Jackson Lewis Gerard. Liam Michael Shumrick. Ethan Christian Shuddy. Nabil Sino. Ryan Matthew Sinnott. Tristan James Slothman. Aiden Thomas Smith. Owen Jeffrey Smith. Luke James Source. Ethan Alexander Spence. Nicholas Edward Stoutberg. Spencer Robert Stegbauer. Beckett James Stimson. Edward James Steinman. Zachary James Sukavati. Ryan Thomas Sullivan. Shane Michael Sullivan. Riley Killian Sumner. Sabian George Swan. William Jacob Sweeney. Joseph Michael Taggart. Cameron Lee Taylor. Henry Alexander Tykin. James Michael Theobald. Adam William Thompson. Zachary Joseph Thompson. Jason Lincoln Tobery. Johan Ezekiel Trajano. Tanner Lynn Trapp. Benjamin Michael Valerius. Gokul Vamadeva. John Michael Veith. Nicholas Full Villegas. Franklin Edward Villing. John Gerald Villing. Maxwell Benjamin Vollmer. Daniel Hillenbrand Vollmer, Jr. Anton Vovchenko. Aaron Nak Vu. Thomas William Wall. Dominic Martin Walters. John Michael Walton IV. Joshua David Wassler. Paul Williamson Watkins. Jonathan Titus Weeks. John Joseph Wegman. Noah Joseph Widener. Michael James Wenger. Connor Robert Whitefoot. Jackson Edward Whitworth. Nathan Michael Williams. Will William Ronald Whittakin. Cameron Clifton Wolf. Luke Robert Wolterman. Kai Ibolio Yi. Caden Michael Young. Sayed Ali Raza Zaidi. John Anthony Ziegler. And Kyle Christopher Zimmerman.
Class of 2026, you are now graduates of St. Xavier High School. So please move your tassel from the right to the left of your cap, denoting that you are now graduates of the Long Blue Line. Gentlemen, I could not be more proud of you as individuals and as a class. Thank you for 4 great years. As St. Ignatius would instruct his fellow Jesuits as they were commissioned to go out into the world, ite inflammate omnia. Go and set the world afire. At this time, I ask those in attendance to please join in saying together the prayer for generosity as it appears on page 2 of the program. Dear Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as you deserve, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for any reward, save that of knowing that I'm doing your will. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the class of 2026. Before we depart, please join our graduates in the singing of the alma mater. The words can also be found on page 2 of the program.